Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everyone. We are live for a Shochu'sday in Miyazaki this time. We're out on the road. We're Shochu hunting, and I apologize for the traffic noise. But maybe Steven's a little farther away from the car, so I'm going to let him talk about where we are right now.
Yep. Hello, everyone. Christopher and I are actually together in Takachiho. This is a pretty famous city in the mountains of Miyazaki. We'll try to show you a little bit of the scenery. Up the road behind me is the village of Takachiya. Probably can't see very well, but that's where people mainly live in this region. I don't know the population, but it's a decent sized little town. And then you'll see behind me there's a strange man standing in the road. But if you look at Christopher's cam, that's actually looking down the road towards Takachiho Gorge, which is a World Heritage Site. It's an absolutely gorgeous location. We wanted to stream from there, but we were worried about cellular connection, so we decided to do it from the town itself. And then behind us, actually behind both of us, is Takachiho Shrine. And Takachiho Shrine is historically significant because it's believed to be at the spot where Amaterasu, who I believe is the sun goddess, had gone and hidden in a cave because she was annoyed at her brother, who was acting like a jerk. And when the sun goddess hid in the cave, that made the world go black. Right, there was no sun, and so it was important for the other gods to get her out of the cave, and so they actually did body dances to get her to come out. And it sounded like everybody was having fun, so she decided to come out and see what was going on, and the sun returned to the sky. And Amaterasu is actually considered, like, if I remember my history, she was one of the goddesses. She was a goddess who's responsible for the royal family. So the emperor's family are believed to be divine, and they came from her bloodline. So this is a pretty important place down here in Kyushu. And what's kind of fun about it, if we walk into the shrine a little bit, is this basically how ingrained the local spirit is in the local shrine. So trying not to bother people as they enjoy the shrine themselves, but as you walk into the shrine here, you see these beautiful lanterns that are lined up as we walk in. But as you get up to the stairs that lead up to the shrine, you can see these green signs, the green lit signs, and those are actually all sponsored by the local shochu guilds. The local shochu companies. So each one of those signs, there's 5 of them on the way up, are all for different shochu companies that are in the region. And I guess the biggest one, although they're not based exactly here, is Unkai. But they're not that far away, are they?
No, they're not, or at least one of their distilleries is not.
Yeah, and they're the 3rd largest shochu maker, after Kirishima and Sanwa-shirui, who make ichigo. So they're a sponsor here at the shrine, as well as Takachiho Shuzo, which we're in Takachiho, so they're the local distillery. But we're not going to go up to the shrine since we don't want to disturb people who are here to pray and that sort of thing. But we are enjoying the local feel of Takachiho. This is my 2nd time here, my 1st time to the shrine. And last time I was just here during the day and went down to see the gorge, which is just absolutely stunning. But this time we actually were able to come in yesterday, visit one of the distilleries, and then have a local izakaya dinner last night, which was pretty fantastic, and drink the local shochu with the local food, which is always one of the most enjoyable things you can do when you come to one of these small towns. It's got a lot of shochu industry around. So any thoughts on your end, Christopher?
Just on the visit yesterday, I mean, we were able to kind of crack an inaccessible code in a distillery that I had tried to get into a couple times before, and they blocked me, but we were allowed in this time, and it was really interesting to see kind of the larger scale size distillery not in action. They were really only bottling or labeling yesterday, but we saw a little bit of filtration, a little bit of the capacity that they have, and it really is a massive, a really massive undertaking. That's honestly not operating at capacity right now, like most makers.
Yeah, and we were able to, really enjoyed visiting. And it had been a while since I'd been to a large maker, so it was nice to see that industrial scale again. And yet, trying their drinks, realizing how good it is. Like they've got some truly fascinating expressions available here in Japan. And I guess we can reveal the name of the maker. We were visiting Takachiho.
Yeah.
Which is they're one of the larger distilleries in Japan, but probably not in the. They were in the top 50 by sales at one point, but now I think they've fallen a little bit below. As Christopher said, they're not working at capacity right now, but they make some lovely drinks, and we really enjoyed.
You have one in your pocket, don't you?
Oh yeah, well I was going to do that for what newly opened.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but they were very welcoming. It was really nice to meet the distillery staff and spend some time with them and taste through their portfolio and that kind of thing. And the other, I guess, unexpected enjoyable thing that happened is it turned out that a friend of ours has moved to Takachiho, and we were able to enjoy our dinner last night with she's actually a local tour guide. And it turns out that she's just starting to plan a walking tour of Takachiho. And Christopher has her guide, her pamphlet there. It's all in English. She speaks English. And so when things open up, for those of you who are interested in coming to Takachiho for a visit, Aoi Hidaka is ready to be your host. She's really good people and very knowledgeable about shochu. She actually works with Furusawa Distillery down in Nichinan. But she's living up here in Takachiho now because all of her work is being done remotely. And this is just an absolutely beautiful part of the country, and so I don't blame her at all for making the move. But we'll be sure to share information about her tour when things open back up. And then she also is interested in starting to create shochu tours, and I know some of you have asked about the potential for that in the future, and so I think we may end up collaborating with her in developing some tours, different lengths, different parts of Kyushu and Okinawa for shochu tourism. So we'll obviously keep everybody posted about that as it happens. But exciting things happening here in Takachiho.
Yep, absolutely. And, so today we're going to be in the car for the rest of the morning, but we just wanted to check in and say hi and show you some of the beauty that we're experiencing immediately surrounding the hotel. Not a whole lot in the way of booze news, but we do have a new podcast that we feel that we should pimp. You want to talk about that one a little bit?
Sure. That's right. Yeah, we've got an episode about cuts. We did promise to dive deeper on a lot of the information that we shared during season 1 here in season 2. And so, as we did malt versus koji a few weeks ago, we talked about cuts. And cuts, for those of you you've probably heard the term if you're interested in spirits, but it's the points at which you start to capture and then stop capturing the spirit that's coming out of the still. And the 4 shots at the very beginning are toxic, so you want to discard those, and then the distiller himself herself is going to make decisions about where to cut based on what flavor and aroma profile and alcohol percentage they want from the final product. And so that's that's very basic what cuts is, but we go pretty deep and talk about a lot of different aspects of cuts and why they matter and who's, it's funny because I think Christopher described them as this mysterious, like, alchemy part of distilling. And for those of you who don't really understand or haven't been involved in distillery work, it might seem that way, but there are pretty reliable measures that distillers can use to know where to make their cuts. And once they figure that out, as long as they're working with the same base ingredients, the same equipment, yeast, fermentation time, all that sort of thing, then the cuts become a little more routine. But finding the right cuts is part of the exploration process that a distiller will go through to create these drinks that we know and love. So please have a listen to that episode. It was a lot of fun researching as usual, and excited to have that in your feed. And then coming up, I think our next episode is going to be another interview with a pretty well-regarded shochu expert here in Japan. Won't reveal who it is yet, but that'll be coming soon. We're editing that now. The interview's been done. So yeah, we got more podcasts coming. And I don't know if anybody had questions in the chat. I haven't been monitoring it, Christopher.
Not particularly. People just commenting on. I've been throwing up a few comments here, but people are excited about the cuts episode. It was a good one. I recorded it in a closet, so it's a little trivia from that one. But yeah, enjoy. Tell us what you think. And I'm going to switch this over to the final banner of the day, which is the newly opened.
Yep. And so Christopher and I actually have a newly opened together. Turn around so you can see him on my camera. Somewhere. Oh, he's behind the bottle. There he is. And our newly opened is Takachiho.
There it is.
So this is a pretty cool drink. It's 100% barley, and it's 100% barley koji. This is a white koji vacuum distilled expression, and it's got just all kinds of light fruit aroma. Really, really, you still get a little bit of the grain, but you get an awful lot of almost, it's like the banana esters that you'll find in sake sometimes. So it's really, really easy drinking, light drink, but quite nice. And they do several different expressions of these all koji, 100% barley shochu that are all pretty impressive. And they're doing this at scale. I mean, they're making, 4,000 liters a go?
4,000 kilos of koji coming out every day. So
yeah, that's right. And they said they get a bottle for every kilo of rice, or of grain. Initio being a 1.8. So actually getting about 6,000 liters out of that 4,000 kilo koji run. And they do make standard barley shochu where they add steamed barley to the second fermentation, but they're all koji. Barley is really, really interesting drink. So, and they're a maker of pretty great soba shochu as well. I didn't have that bottle in my pocket though. I had this one because this is what we were sipping on after we got back to the hotel last night. So it's our newly opened. But I didn't really know a lot about Takachiho before the visit, so it was fun to learn about a new distillery, get to know the folks behind the brands, and learn a little bit about them. They're also the makers of 100% corn shochu, which I'm still wrapping my head around how they grow koji on corn. There was a picture in the PowerPoint that they shared with us of the granulated corn that they use to grow the koji on. So I guess it's cerealed, right? It's not the whole kernels.
One cellulose is going to get in the way.
Yeah. We thought that they were granulating it, but we'll learn more as we get to know them better. This is our first meeting with them, so we'll see. They have a couple of barrel-aged corn shochu, 100% corn shochu, which you can imagine is quite bourbon-like, quite American corn whiskey-like, but with the element of the koji. So interesting stuff happening here at Takachiho. Any other thoughts?
Not really. You just basically answered Jake's question. You wanted to hear more about what we had been drinking yesterday, so I think we got that. My newly opened is everything that Steven has just mentioned, and plus I had a canned Chuhai that was made by a 3% Chuhai that was made by Takachiho, and it was actually quite nice.
Yeah, that's what they just released a 3% alcohol Huguenot Chuhai, and Huguenots are basically a local Miyazaki citrus, and 3% seems really low for a citrus Chuhai. Those are usually higher ABV.
I don't know how well you can see that, but kind of backlit. It's just starting to sprout, though. Just starting to bloom. Yeah, so happy to all of you out there from Takachiho. It is. It really is.
Just wanted to say hello to everybody and get the give you the lay of the land a little bit. Give you the lay of the land a little bit. All of the tourists are coming to the shrine are wondering what these two gringos are doing, unmasked, holding a bottle of shochu. 10 in the morning.
Yeah. So we're gonna vacate the premises, I think, and get on the road.
Yeah, but we'll be back next week with another edition, probably back in our usual locales. And until then, yeah, stay happy, healthy, safe, and
Kanpai?
Sip slowly, sip honkaku.
Kanpai, everybody. Have a good day.
Kanpai.
Hey, bye-bye. Hey, bye-bye.